There we go. And we're live.
Good morning.
See what happens when I go to video?
See, Charles gonna be in second morning. And the third.
Do you want to maybe mention just in the chat that we're probably going to get going in about 5 minutes?
Yeah.
We don't have anybody here yet, so
I'll go and do that now.
thank you.
I muted it. Now there's no more beeping.
Are they joining?
Huh?
The sound it makes when people join.
No, that was me being too close.
Oh.
My
I
sound was
like,
on.
wow, that's a lot of people
It's
joining us.
like with
Gotcha.
Microsoft Teams where too many
Yeah.
computers were close, it yelled at you.
I was like, wow.
Good morning, Mr. Diaz. Jesus Diaz is on. He made it.
Woohoo!
There we go. Good morning, Lena. Thank you for coming.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Ricky?
Good morning, I'm well.
Good morning.
Good morning. There's no parents.
No.
We got two online.
And two here count.
No, we don't count. We don't count as parents.
But the good news is the board is finalized, so as long as we have majority, like as long as we have like technically quorum according to the roster, we're okay.
Okay.
If you're a SAC member.
Like our.
We're gonna get started in maybe like 3 or 4 minutes.
3 or 4 minutes. Oh, hello, Crystal. Emma Kionis' mom is on as well.
Awesome.
Parents are saying hello. So yes, as long as they comment hello, they will be able to. And there are some parents who sent emails after that because they're watching on their phones. They couldn't swipe to chat. Yes. Will do. Good morning, Miss. I got Santiago Ruiz. Good morning, Mrs. Spino.
Hey, Zoom's in for the minutes, like
Good morning, Mr.
board
Bench.
members, yeah, committee members,
And I have name tags for the induction for you. So I'll just get stones and containers and be able to put it in the cafeteria for Friday during lunches. So the kids' names, teachers' names are already on the slips of paper. We just call them up, they pick their stone. Hey.
Question on there, we have Lena's on there, Hutchinson's on there, Ruth Rodriguez.
Not-
Ruth Rodriguez,
Ruth-
yep.
I know is on that list. Ruth is not here yet. I know she's got to get.
Wallace, yep.
Covell,
Yep,
Cotto,
yep.
and then our vice chair, Kataya.
She should be coming.
Yep, Cartaya.
Okay, so they're only missing two of the board members.
So here's what I have for the board. You ready? Nappins Torres, Lanesha Johnson, who I just saw her walk by, Ricky, Zupa Abreu, she's here.
Good morning, Lizette.
Cartaya, Cato, Koval, Wallace, Rodriguez, Hutchinson, Shafi, Janet Rodriguez, and Diaz. How many people do we have online, Torres?
Right now we have 8 watching, including me, so 7.
Ian's first name is
Hey, good morning.
Jesus. Good morning.
Johnson, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, you're good.
Thank you.
All right, we're just gonna get rolling then to be respectful of everyone's time. Cool. All right, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, listen, so a little bit of a small group. This is obviously a tough time of year. Funny shirt. All right, so we're gonna do some quick introductions. I think at the end we'll just verify that this is a good time for everybody. I thought that like dropping off was a good time for people, so we'll confirm. Okay. All right, so welcome. December 15th. We got 2 days, 2 more school days after today until break. We're gonna get going. Just a couple of things to cover this morning. Introduction. Last board meeting, which we did not have a November meeting, so last meeting we had in October was we solidified our chair, our board, all the voting members. We do have like a rather large committee, which is cool. Ms. Torres is our SAC chair as we get moving here in the school year. She's going to probably have more ownership in the meetings. Her and I worked on the agenda this week, so super excited that she's actively participating in the process. So, Ms. Johnson, thank you for being here. Ricky, great job. Zupa, Mr. Brew, I saw her. She's here somewhere. All right. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Come on in. All right.
Good morning.
Ms. Kataya is our co-chair. Kato, Ms. Coble, Ms. Wallace, Ruth Rodriguez, Ms. Hutchinson's here. Good morning. Lena, Shafi, Janet, who's running a little bit late this morning. And Mr. Diaz is our business community member. And he's joining us virtually. All right. So we're going to get rolling. So we're going to do our best to get into the swing of things here and formalize these meetings a little bit. We're going to do a formal call to order. So what I'll do, because being the principal, I'm a voting member of SAC, so I'll motion that we'll practice this a little bit, right? Come on in.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. So wherever you want.
Good
No, listen,
morning,
don't rush.
Angie.
Good morning.
Is we'll do a formal call to order. So I'll motion that we call this meeting to order, and then we'll look for a second. Someone will say, "Yep, second."
Yep.
Thank you. Perfect. Say again.
I took that as you were giving directions.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is practice. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So it's such a bad example. So then, and then we'll all vote. Do we agree that do we vote to bring this meeting to order? We'll just do a
Yes.
simple show of hands. Perfect. Great job. All right. So, Zupa, the star secretary of the SAC committee, is going to just do a quick rundown of our October meeting because it's been a while since we've gotten together. So, Zupa will read the meetings, and then we'll motion and vote to approve the meeting minutes.
Well, good morning, everybody. So last meeting, we solidified the board. Mr. Knapp just went over the board members with us. And we went over some of our school improvement goals. Goal 1. Goal 1 was according to school performance, is based on our school performance. Goal 2 was to establish a culture of learning and collective staff efficacy. And goal 3, to summarize, was just to integrate and monitor resources and strategies being used within the classroom. We had some upcoming events that we were speaking of, which were some of our SAC event, our PT events. We had fall festival, we had movie night. We spoke a little bit more about what the SAC committee is in charge of, and that was really
Cool. And the big business last time was to solidify the board, or formalize it, I should say, and then also approve the school improvement plan. Okay, we're good so far. All right, we're gonna keep moving. Good morning. All right, so here's our agenda for today. We got a few things we're gonna run through. Principal update. We'll talk about a couple things that are going on in the school, things that we've covered in the first half of the year. We'll take a quick look at data, just so everybody knows. People who are not inside the building every day can get a quick glimpse of what we've done here so far and some of our celebrations. I'll give you a quick staffing update, kind of who we've hired in the first half of the year and who we're still looking for. Ms. Torres is going to talk to us about community involvement, some of the big events we've had. We have Ms. Hutchinson, you're the PTA president. So she'll be here to give us a quick update on PTA. They've had an amazing first half of the year. Have some cool ideas for the second half of the year, and then some upcoming dates. All right, here we go. All right, so I think it's really important that we go over this about SAC funds, right? How much do we have, and what can we use this money for? If you remember last year, we didn't have money for tutoring, right? So, and SAC had about $20,000 they were in control of. And this is money that just piled up for years. So I came in and asked SAC for some money for tutoring, and SAC agreed that was an idea that they could use to support the school. All right, SAC funds. So where does this money come from? I've talked about this. This money comes from really predominantly two places. One, every year a teacher gets a card that has money on it, right? So this year it was like 300 some bucks, and this is used to buy school supplies, classroom supplies, or maybe they have a project in their class. Whatever doesn't get used on those cards. So like, let's say a teacher uses 250 of the $300 and just forgets or just doesn't need anything else. That $50 automatically goes into this fund, right? It could be 37 cents. It goes into that fund. So it compiles over the years. Hey, good morning. And so it starts to accrue. The other part is when the school performs well and we get school recognition funds, right? Like you've heard of like A+ money. It's really called school recognition fund. So we perform well, we get rewarded. The staff then comes together and votes on how are we going to disseminate that money, right? So they can come up with really a variety of different options. And I know that you guys have been through this before. But one option they can choose is to give some of it back to the school. All right. That doesn't go like into my discretionary fund. It goes into the SAC fund that SAC's in control of. Okay. Cool with that? I went through it pretty fast. How much do we have right now? So Torres and I were looking at as we were planning, we have about $4,500 in there. Okay. So it's a pretty good chunk of change that we can use to do things, right? To help teachers, help students. That's our focus. What can we do with it? Torres and I were talking, had some really good ideas about previous experiences we've had. Hey, good morning. One idea that we both had experienced at previous schools, what we call like SAC grants or like mini grants, right? So like a teacher could come to SAC and say, hey, listen, I have this proposal, right? Like I wanna do this awesome science lab or this awesome math project or whatever. But I don't have. No, I didn't have. But I need $300 to do this project. So I'm asking SAC based on what I'm doing, what it's tied to, right? Like the standard is tied to, how this is going to increase student achievement, and they come up here and explain what they're going to do. SAC, and they'll say, listen, I need $300, and we'll vote on it. And then if the SAC says, yeah, we want that, and we would love to help you out with that project, then we'll write them a check for $300. Cool. I've seen some really good examples of that being done. Like my wife is a testing coordinator at her school, and she just did a SAC grant for headphones, right? So like SAC bought like a couple hundred sets of like headphones. So that's an example. Okay. Any question about SAC funds and what we can do with them? About $4,500? Huh?
No. Just think about it. You buy headphones.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Question? No. All right. So that's something to keep in mind, right? And I think that it's good that it'll be reflected in the notes and that we have good staff representation in here, is that you go back and you say, hey, you talk to your teams or your colleagues and your peers, and there's some really cool ideas. But all right, semester one highlights. And it's been a wild first half of the school year, right? So we know that last year was super wonky, and I'll just leave it at that. But man, we've recovered extremely well. We're going to talk about data in a second, and just a quick snippet of the growth and the progress that our awesome teachers have made here. So I think just to sum it up, rather than going event by event, and I think that's what Torres is going to talk about here in a second, is that just, I want to emphasize for everybody in this room and the community people who are attending virtually, like the work that the teachers have done and the students have done this year, right? Is that they know, and I know they know, is that I'm extremely like demanding. Like I have this idea of like where the school can go, and I know it stresses people out. I do. So I'm working on that, but I also want to make sure that we kind of reach that potential, which I know we're capable of. So we're really, like, our teachers are doing a phenomenal job putting our kids in the best position to be successful. Because listen, like you're going to see in a second, like, man, we last year created some huge gaps, regardless of whether the student was low, whether the student had a disability, or even like our higher students. Everybody's affected by like the varying models last year. So we've recovered a lot. We're still not there, but we're working there. Okay. So the do's and don'ts for second semester. I think that this is a couple hot ticket items here. And I'm thankful that Ms. Blair is here because she's going to talk about a couple things, specifically threats and kind of using kind words, as simple as it sounds. So, Ms. Blair, our school counselor, and best around. Go ahead, Ms. Blair.
Good morning, everybody. The first thing that comes to mind is, why do kids make threats? It's because they lack problem solving skills, or the words to help themselves solve problems. That sounds very general and easy, but it isn't. It isn't easy when we have to determine if there's a threat, but I will tell you that if there have been threats this year, or when there has been, it has been our students who have reported those students. So that's the best thing that comes out of this. The other part is that none of our threats have been substantive, which means that there was a plan of action after. It was just a statement that a child made, and those are called transient threats. A transient threat is when a child says, "I'm going to kill you," and I interview them, "I was just joking." Even if they state they are just joking, the process for threat assessment is the same, whether they're in kindergarten by holding up crayons and saying, "I'm going to shoot you," or an older child who is angry at another kid. If kids are talking, what is not a threat, if kids are talking about a violent movie, we might say, "You know what, let's not discuss that here," but that is not a threat. If they're playing outside and cops and robber type game maybe, and there's no negative intent that you can see, you might say, "Let's play something else," but that probably is not a threat. Mr. Nappins is built into every teacher's schedule, an SEL block, social emotional learning block, where teachers can work on team building and cooperative learning activities that I would predict would start to reduce the number of threats that we have. We don't have many threats, and that's the good news, and we have none that have been further than transient, meaning that a kid says something impulsively and then says, "I was just joking." The problem is when a child makes a statement, even if he or she is just kidding, the process is the same. And it's extensive, and it's hours from administration, from guidance, from parents. One of the worst calls I have to make is when I call a parent to let them know that their child has made a threat. Like, I'm sick to my stomach to even say it. Yeah.
Can I just add in
Of
there
course.
too, to piggyback on what Blair's saying? Like, it's an invasive process too. And it's not, and this is not something that like we as a school make up, but man, you have to. I've been with Blair, and Blair navigates it pretty well. Is that like, man, there's just some very tough questions that like as a staff member we have to ask students, like, are there guns in the home?
Yeah.
The kids have access to weapons, right? Like, and you may not have a gun in 20 miles of you, or you may never had a gun in your house, or kitchen knives are all put away. Like, it's crazy though. Like, I mean, it's wild to think that like, but I think that what she's saying too is that like we have to take every threat seriously, and it's you guys know that it's very apparent in media these days that the threats are real. We take every threat seriously, even though it may just be something as simple as like, "Oh, I'm gonna," they're playing basketball, like joking around, and a kid says, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and not for the intention of like, I'm physically gonna kill you, but like it's a figure of speech for them. And that, like, then there's a different kind of threat, like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you tomorrow. I'm gonna bring a knife to school and I'm gonna stab you." Like, there's two different, like, very threats. And listen, we don't have, ours is such a small number, but it's important. Like, I want to be as intense as possible about this, because I want parents to know this, that like, as you're coaching your kids on things that that are appropriate for school and not appropriate for school, like that's definitely where it registers, and we take them all seriously. So I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
There's something that sometimes they don't mean to do it, but that's the TV they are watching.
Yeah.
That was one of
The
my
series
points.
they are watching right now, what is that called? The series,
Squid Games.
the Squid Game.
Oh Lord.
But
I don't know, there's a lot of kids watching that series.
And that's why parents are so important, and that was one of my bullet points, to monitor what your children are watching. So many of our kids have phones. Kids will come to me and show me, parents will send me screenshots of what other kids have said to them, which teeters on threats. Parents, the children are in your home, so you are the ones that we need help from in monitoring what your children are exposed to. As far as how we know what to do when there's a threat, we have had extensive training, and when I say we, admin, myself, every counselor, every district mental health, Deputy Ray, and all the resource officers every year. And it came out of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas with the school shootings in Parkland. And so there's state legislation that mandates how we follow. There's a script. This is like my threat assessment Bible. No threat is the same. So it's not like, oh, I know what to do next. I usually have to go right back to this. Consult with the admin, consult with downtown. I contacted our district police through Orange County because I had a question about something the other day. It's not something that is routine, and every time a child said, and a parent's response may be different too. So please, please, please help us by monitoring what they hear and see at home, because they do come to school and talk about what they're seeing or playing, and video games. They seem very innocent until they're not. So they're just elementary students. Fortunately, we don't have serious threats, but the implications for what happens if a child makes a statement are very serious, because they go on that child's record and it follows them. It goes into a database with the Orange County Public Schools Police database, so that we're looking at those students who make threats early to try to give them intervention so that something doesn't happen bigger later.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Blair. Appreciate it. And like Ms. Blair was talking about the SEL block, or the social emotional learning block, it's just a time our younger kids, K1 and 2, have more consistency with it, just because they have that time in the day that we're able to push it in there. But every teacher's become really good about a lot of our teachers become really good about incorporating it into the day. And the goal is just literally to create class community, right? Like to create like that tight knit bond between those kids where they feel comfortable working with each other, and then if there is conflict, that they're able to like resolve it, passively within the group before it becomes like craziness. So, simple things too, like keeping our hands to ourselves, right? Like, I mean, I say this to the kids in the cafeteria, it's like, don't touch anybody ever, right? Like, there's never an appropriate time to touch anybody at school, and it's just important that we reiterate that. And managing technology, Ms. Blair kind of touched on that a little bit, but like the physical side of it, like those devices, we've had a handful of issues this year where kids take them home. Either they don't bring them back charged, like if the teacher's in a spot where they feel good about sending them home every night, just make sure that they're charging before they go to bed, because when they come to school, if they're not charged, like, some of these classrooms are very, very interactive with technology, and if they don't have they can be plugged into the wall, like away from their group, because they don't have any juice. So, and listen, appropriate platforms, that goes for school too. And I think as a school, we're learning too about platforms that we have here in order to monitor like websites, right? So, instead of being on iReady, they're on, what's one they're on? Like, what's one? Minecraft. Okay, thank you. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Ricky. Yeah, so like instead of being on iReady or Reflex Math, they're playing Minecraft, right? So if you just remind your kiddos that when you're at school, it's business as usual, and it's not time to play Minecraft or any other thing for that matter. So, any questions about this stuff? No? All right, really quick then, we're just gonna do, this is the wrong computer. We're gonna do just a quick look at data, as I promised, okay? And this is the only part we're gonna talk about. So really, this only pertains to iReady reading, because math, we're still wrapping up math, right? So Zupa not only is our SAC secretary, she's also the testing coordinator here, does a phenomenal job with it. Zupa, so like for iReady reading, We tested what, 97%?
We test actually 100%, 3% was our ESE population
Okay.
who doesn't test, so we tested 100%.
Perfect. So we tested all our students K-5 who were eligible to do the middle of the year diagnostic, right? So math's not done yet. Math should be done here today or tomorrow. But I want this to I want to explain this really quick, and I want it to resonate with everyone to show the work that the teachers have done and the work that the students are putting in, right? So what you see down here in the bottom bar, the color's not the best, and I'll explain it though, is this is our fall diagnostic. This is the beginning of the year diagnostic. You heard me talk about it. They take this. When did they take this? November 15th? That's not right, is it?
Beginning of the year.
Beginning of the year, we took it back in September.
Yeah. I don't know why that date's in there. Anyways, so at the start of the school year, right? Middle of year diagnostic, we just finished. We just finished maybe 2 days ago. Well, yeah, last week. Last week we finished. The difference in these colors is so important that, like obviously red is now where we want to be, right? We want to see green and obviously the green with the stripes there is even a higher level of achievement. What I really want everybody to notice is like this massive yellow bar from the beginning of the year and then even into the red, all right? So at the start of the school year, we had 245 students, kindergarten through 5th grade. So we tested 569 students, right? So we had 245 students, so a third of our population, roughly, a little more than a third of our population, of our students were at least 1 grade below, right? Yellow equals 1 grade below, all right? Basically, red is 2 or more years below, all right? We've closed that now to 160 students. If you see how much smaller it is now. But you notice that our kids who are multiple years below have gotten smaller because now they're 1 year below, right? They're trending in the right direction. Some of our students who were a year below to start down here have now moved to on grade level, right? So green is on or above grade level. So if you look at it now where, we have over, 356 kids. We have 356 kids in our school who are on or above grade level, right? Are meeting those goals already as it stands for the middle of the year diagnostic, right? So we're trending in the right direction. We've closed a huge gap, all right? 2 things that I want you guys to think about, but I'm not going to get into like the data jargon too much, is like things that we look at are proficiency and growth, right? So proficiency is like a student who's performing on grade level. Like a 3rd grader by the end of the year has shown, competency or proficiency of 3rd grade content, right? So in FSA language, that means that they would be a 3 or higher, right? All right. Proficiency, I feel like, is something that's going to be a huge challenge for us this year because we are still closing so many gaps, right? But where I feel like we are going to really shine this year, and it's already starting to show, is growth. And this is going to be a trend across the district. I mean, if you have kids at other schools, middle school, high school, this is where they're going to focus too, is that we're making this massive band right here into a smaller section of our student population, right? Yeah, and we're still aiming for proficiency. We want 3, 4s, and 5s on FSA, all right? Or we want our K1 and 2 kiddos to leave, on grade levels or promote to the next grade level. But man, our goal is to close those gaps, right? And we're working with teachers every day on different ways that we can approach instruction to really hit those troubled areas, okay? All right. I don't want to go too much more into this because I don't want to bore anybody, but does anybody have any questions about this before we move on? No, we're good? Okay. All right. So, moving on. Here we go. Staffing report. This will take 30 seconds, right? So, as you can see, we've hired a lot of people, all right? And we're very fortunate to have brought these people on board. 1 instructional and the rest are classified, right? So Miss Perez, there's a couple Miss Perez's up there. They're different people. Miss Perez was a ESE paraprofessional in one of our IND units, right? So she is going to be transitioning to an ESE resource teacher. So she's going to become an instructional staff member, right? Yeah, so she's going to help our students who have particular needs. She's going to help move them, all right? very excited for that. Miss Valentine just started this week. She's our new support services clerk. As you know, that we've been a little shorthanded all year in the front office. Now we are fully staffed in the front office. We can all take a deep sigh. All right, love her lead. Miss Valentine, so she just started on Monday. We're glad to have her. She's coming from Oak Ridge High School. All right. Miss Negron is brand new to education. She is the new ESC para working in our IND unit. Very talented person. Very excited to have her. She also started on Monday. All right. Miss Herrera is joining us from Freedom High School. She is our new Spanish bilingual para. She's been here for about 2 weeks. A lot of new people all at the same time. All right. Miss Pena and Miss Perez, these 3 tutoring positions right here were positions that that we don't have to pay for. These are all grant-funded positions due to CARES Act money. I won't go into the details, but we were able to hire these 3 ladies as hourly tutors. All right, as hourly tutors to support in specific areas. They're doing a wide variety of things. So as you see, we have 7 new staff members, a lot of exciting stuff going on. We're making sure that we're able to support all the students and all the kids. We do have 2 vacancies. We have a 3rd grade teaching vacancy. All right. Our 3rd grade team has been an absolute monster squad this year, taking on more kids. So they have where they generally have about 18 kids, they have about 21 or 22 kids right now. Okay. So if anybody's looking for a job, all right. And then we have a ESE severely handicapped paraprofessional that will work in the units. Okay. Cool. All right, here we go. Off to Miss Torres.
So we've had a lot of community and school-wide events since the beginning of the school year. We had our first house induction in September, where all of our new navigators, or those who had not been sorted in the past, were inducted into one of our 5 houses, with the next induction taking place Friday during lunches. So our students will leave the break. Hopefully all navigators will be inducted into the health system. Mr. Riveron had the students participate in the water conservation calendar contest, where we did have 3 navigators make the finals and are given a calendar page of their artwork. So we're very excited for them, and you'll see their artwork in just a moment. We had multiple grade level performances in November in our primary grades. So there was a kindergarten concert, a 1st grade concert, and a 2nd grade concert, all taking place in November, along with the Kids Heart Challenge, where we raised significant funds to go towards the American Heart Association. So thank you to our navigators and our families for chipping in funds to go towards a great cause. 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students attended the orchestra field trip in November, grant-funded field trip, which hopefully we've been told that we'll go back face-to-face next year, traveling to the Bob Carr. Yesterday, our 2nd graders attended a performance of the Orlando Ballet presenting the Nutcracker. Once again, grant-funded, completely free for all 2nd grade students to view. And once again, next year should be returning back to the Dr. Phillips Center to see the Orlando Ballet perform. We had a great turnout at our annual Fall Festival. Miss Waldeck and Student Council held a 2-week-long food drive. So thank you to everybody who donated to a great cause. Mr. Nappins is loading up all of the canned goods and food into his truck today to take down to get donated to those in need during this holiday season. The Ukulele Club had their inaugural performance at the Fezziwig Festival in Hunters Creek this past Friday. And all navigators, if they want to, can participate in our 12 days of holiday cheer just to make the final 12 days of school of 2021 just a little bit more fun. So we do have pictures from the grade level performances, which the students did fantastic. And if you want to watch any of these performances, go on YouTube, search for the Endeavor ES live stream, and you guys can subscribe and see all of the performances that have taken place and share them with your families. And then our 3 navigators who were finalists in the Water Conservation Calendar Contest was 4th grader Maggie Morrissey from Miss Plummer's class, We've got JD Canizales in 5th grade in Miss Perez's class, and Mr. Riberon's own son, Cedric Riberon from 4th grade Miss Weeks' class, are all featured in the calendar this year. So we are very excited for them, and we cannot wait to put those calendars up around the school. And then keeping it busy with our 5th graders. We did a special event for 5th graders in the cafeteria for the orchestra field trip. 3rd and 4th graders did great in their classrooms. Teachers made it like a movie theater. And thank you to PTA for providing popcorn and snacks for all of our navigators to enjoy. Do not have pictures of 2nd grade from yesterday, but once again, thank you PTA for your ongoing support with providing that special treat to our 2nd graders. And today is 80s Christmas in our ugly sweaters. Final 2 days. Tomorrow is Jingle Bell Day, so add jingle bells to your attire that you wear. And then, of course, Friday, chill out in your pajamas. Please wear your pajamas to school on Friday as we celebrate our final day here at Endeavor for the 2021 year. And of course, Coach Brand's getting pied in the face, along with all the special area teachers, to all those students who had raised over $30 for the Kids Heart Challenge. So that's 1st grader, Miss Acosta's class, Emerson Muncie, in action, pieing Coach Brand's right in the face. So we've had quite a very busy first semester, and we cannot wait to do even more in the spring. Thank you.
Good job, Torres.
All right, so thank you, Torres. Listen, and Torres, for anybody who's listening online here, Lydia does not get enough credit because the holiday season has been super festive because of all the presentations and all the kids have done a phenomenal job. So, all right, so we do have the PTA president, PTA royalty here, Lauren Hutchinson, and just to give us a quick update on what PTA has done this year and what we can look forward to for the second half of the year.
Yeah, we did the fall festival, which was an amazing turnout. Mr. Nappins was accompanied with Mr. McDonald in the dunk tank, so that was a lot of fun. I think the kids love that. Our movie night, we did The Grinch, which everybody loved. I think we're going to do that again this spring. And we had the holiday shop last week, which we did really, really well with as well. The kids got to shop for their parents and their siblings and all that stuff for Christmas. Coming up, we're going to have a bingo night possibly for the 100th day of school. And again, another movie night, hopefully. And then we're working on the Sun event that we usually do every year. The daughter dance we usually do every year. And probably a few other little things here and there. But we're excited for the rest of the year and be able to do some fun stuff for the kids.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, PTA is doing a great job. We've had some awesome events. Fall Festival, which I had never been had experience because last year was obviously worse when it was. We didn't have it. I love seeing everybody around and just good community stuff. So, all right, so we are gonna kind of wrap up here. We're gonna talk about what the school specifically has going on in the second half of the year, and we can get more specific into these dates, the actual testing dates when we come back in January for our January meeting. But obviously semester break not starting December 17th, but that'll be our last day of school. And then we're off until January 4th. We come back on January 4th, which is weird.
On a
I
Tuesday.
try to explain that to some of the students and some of the parents I've seen. We don't come back on Monday the 3rd. I mean, I'll be here, Janet will be here, Ms. Gote will be here, but the teachers, for the most part, won't be here. Some of them will be in the building, but students aren't back until January 4th, Tuesday. Ms. Hutchinson noted that January 24th is 100 day of school. Torres told me that they've already kind of been talking about maybe a pretty awesome 100 day evening event that we'll learn more about here shortly. Super excited about that. And then, listen, I can't believe we're starting to talk about it already, but we get into the second half of the year and we're already starting to plan for next year, and we're talking about we're talking FSA time for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are going to be taking math and reading. 4th and 5th grade have a writing component to it. And then these poor 5th graders have to take another test, which is the science assessment, which is SSA. So a lot of stuff going on. I just showed you the middle of the year data compared to the beginning of the year data from iReady. We will have an end of the year diagnostic, which will be in the spring. I don't know. I don't even know what it is, but I should know. But so then we'll have another data point to kind of look and see, measure the amazing growth I know which we'll accomplish. And then 5th graders have end of course exams for music, art, and PE.
And health.
And health, thank you. Yep. All right, so that wraps up our SAC meeting. It's 8:26. I know teachers are probably getting antsy to get back to their classes. But I want to open this up for questions, comments, concerns. Anybody have anything for the good of the group or?
There is a question from Ruth Rodriguez who says she's interested on the tutoring services for her daughter. What is the process to apply?
Yeah, great question. So it's not tutoring, so we call it acceleration, right? Which means that it's a program that's been created or supported by the district in which it's an after-school program we do. We're going to continue with the same schedule for the second half of the year. We're waiting to find out how many teachers are interested before we actually push out the information. So 5th grade will have science on Monday, and there'll be math and reading on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So there'll be more information to come. The reason the parents haven't had information yet is because, again, we're trying to find out how many teachers are interested. Probably start like mid to late January.
And then I also know there are teachers at the school. There's a tutoring list that if there are families who are interested in tutoring services for their children, Endeavor does have a tutoring list. And you guys can reach out to either Mr. Nappins or May Zupa to go ahead and we can email out that list to you if you are interested. But that is private tutoring that does require pay. So just letting you know about that.
Great question. Now, Ricky.
Just the date was wrong. It says 2021, it's 2022.
Oops.
Just as a heads up.
Oh, listen, thank you. I appreciate it.
Not in that habit yet.
And we have the speech contest for 5th grade. which will be
Yeah,
exciting.
oration's coming up.
And we need community volunteers that are not attached to the school to help judge.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
So then
So we can push that out through SAC. When is that?
The date that I was trying to confirm would be for the 21st.
January.
21st.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So as soon as we get back, I already have some people in mind, but yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
excellent.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's just 5th grade, right?
Yes.
5th grade oration. Yeah. So it's just a speech contest. They do a great job, and they have a little bit different format this year, which I think will be super interesting. So a couple different prompts. So good question. Good comment. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything online? Anybody have anything pressing? Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys being here. I don't want these meetings to be super long. But it's so important that we're here what you guys are, just for a few minutes on these days so we can, one, register our attendance because it's a state requirement that our more than 50% of our board is here. I'm sorry, it's 80% of our committee is here for our meetings. So, all right, guys, that's all I have. If you want to stick around, you have a question for me specifically, then stick around. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
all back on January
yes.
19th
Thank you.
of
January 19th.
2022. We'll
Yeah,
see you
next
all
year.
next year,
Are
January
you good for
19th.
January 19th?
If I'm gonna be here,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay, cool.
I will try.
Yeah, it's good.
Sometimes late because I have to deal with the two
Mhm.
kids.
Is 7:45 too early?
Huh?
Is 7:45 too early?
No, it's just I have to deal with my toddler, so sometimes it's hard to be on time.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
They just had
Have a good
Merry
day.
Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye,
Good?
thank you.
Yeah. My brain's not quite awake yet.
Okay. I mean,